Anna. Welcome back to my channel and the first video for the 2022 holiday card series. So today's video we're going to use two Gina K stamp sets, both from Stamptember, this year's and last year's. Last year's is called Shimmering Snowflakes and this year's was called Sparkling Season. And we're going to make two Hanukkah cards. Thought that'd be a good way to start off since I have people in my family who celebrate Hanukkah. Both of these will be 5x7 cards. I have the Happy Hanukkah dies from Pink and Maine. I believe it's the only Happy Hanukkah sentiment I have. I wish I had one that was stampable as well. And I showed you guys the Catherine Puller inks that we'll be using, but you'll see those again. Now for the first card, I wanted to see if there was any difference with heat embossing and then ink blending versus ink blending and then heat embossing. So the first card panel, we're going to do our heat embossing first. And I just chose snowflakes out of the current year's Stamptember set. Yes. I took the hanging snowflake ornaments and just used one of them for the four corners. As you can see there, very carefully placed. Trying not to smush my stamp too much with the Door of the Misty. And now I have it all heat embossed in Simon Says Stamp Silver Fine Detail Embossing Powder. And now we're going to go in with, don't remember what color that was, but I know I just showed it on the screen for you guys. And I'm going to slowly move up the panel using the different shades of Catherine Puller inks. I believe it's Skylight, Daydream, and Hot Tub, if I'm not mistaken. So I laid down my two colors first on the edges, the lightest and the darkest, and then laid down the medium shade in between, and just went back and forth with my blending to get the seams to be seamless. Say that 3 times fast. Kind of make sure there's no harsh edges on my panel. Took a few times, as you can see. I did not keep adding more ink to my brushes. I tried not to, because we're trying to blend it. We're not trying to make it darker. Now for that second panel, we have Sparkling Berry, Sugared Lavender, and Sangria. And I'm doing the same thing here, except there's no heat embossed images yet on the panel. So we are using the Sparkling Berry on one end, the Sangria on the other, and then putting the Sugared Lavender down in between, and then blending them out until the harsh lines are gone between each color. Now I believe the panels for these, the card's 5x7, so the panels would measure, I believe, 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, because I know there's a nice matte edge from the card base around the entire panel. So I will double check the measurement, but I'm pretty sure it is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. We're almost done blending those colors together there. Now originally I was going to leave them ink blended with no water reactive, or no water, no shimmering sprays, no nothing. Of course, I could not hold myself to that, as you will find out later on. But here is this panel with our images all wiped off from the ink blending. And now we're going to start heat embossing on the second panel. And I was just showing you there what my choices were for the second panel. And I'm making sure to use my powder tool. Now that's something you want to make sure you do no matter which panel, no matter which way you decide to do it. Ink blending first or second. And you want to make sure your ink blending is completely dry, or else no powder tool in the world could save you from having embossing powder stuck to your entire panel. So I'm using the same color, the Fine Detail Silver from Simon Says Stamp, using a different snowflake for my focal point in the center. Put some embossing powder on that, and then we will heat set those. I wanted to try to keep it in frame so I could show you guys the magic. I love the magic of heat embossing. I just love it. Then we will wipe all that powder off, and I'm going to use I used to have a paper punch that rounded the corners, and it broke. So now I use this little thing that came with my laminator to round the corners. I only did it on the purple one though, not on the blue one. Then I use that Happy Hanukkah die and cut it once from the top layer for each card, and then 3 times from 120-pound cardstock to build dimension. And I have like a sugar crystal tonic glittered cardstock for one, and a silver glittered cardstock for the other. And I have most of the layers glued together. I'm just gluing the top layer on here, you know, for people that are newer to card making. Using my Barely Arts glue. It's easier with smaller die cuts because of that needle fine tip. And now we're going to start to put our cards together. So I used matching cardstock or glitter cardstock. Whatever the words were cut out of, I cut the same thing for their frame. So, of course, I cut my centers out. I have to, guys. I can't see wasting all that glitter or mirrored cardstock, whichever it happens to be. It's just too expensive. So we're using the silver glitter cardstock for the purple one. And then we're using the sugar crystal tonic glitter cardstock for the aqua one. And now I'm using a piece of gray 80-pound cardstock for both cards to do my sentiments for the insides. I don't remember what they say, so we'll just have to wait till they're stamped out. I've had this video filmed for quite some time, trying to get ahead on my holiday videos, and then I got sick. So I'm falling behind again. I added some of the single snowflakes from both sets. Kitty corner, top right and lower left for one of the insides. And then did kind of a back and forth on the right side of the second panel. And then you still have plenty of space for writing a personal message in there. I thought about heat embossing those in silver as well. Didn't want it to be overkill. I think it looks cute the way it is. And I did round the corners of the card base that goes with the purple card front. And yes, so that main panel was 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and then I put the glitter frame around it so that there's only like 1/8 of an inch on each side showing of the card base itself. And that's for both cards. Then we will put our insides into the inside of the cards. Insides into the inside. How much more technical can you get? Just using some super strong double-sided adhesive for that. I have had the insides of my cards fall out before because my adhesive wasn't strong enough. So now I always make sure I use something that is definitely strong. And now we're going to glue our Happy Hanukkah onto the front of each card. So for the purple card, I decided to go with Happy up above the snowflake and Hanukkah down below. But for the other card, the snowflake is slightly larger, and it just looked too crowded that way. So I decided to do it Happy Hanukkah down towards the lower part of the card. I do really love the way these turned out. And this is where I decided I had to have the splatters, guys. Just had to. And I thought I'd give you an update on the pins, enamel pins I have in my box, so I showed you that. So I'm using some of this Yuli, I believe it is, holographic watercolor. And I don't remember the names, but I'll put them down below for you guys. And I'm splattering both of those on both cards, rather than going with the regular shimmer sprays. I wanted something a little different, and they really do just sparkle beautifully in the light. And I'm using my bling ring from Pear Blossom Press to put my splatters onto my cards. I love this ring. Just love it. It's so cool. I'm trying to show you the splatters now, but camera never really does it justice, guys. It just really doesn't. I did hit that with my heat tool to try to let it dry before I picked them up. You can see it a little better on that one. And that's it for the first holiday video, guys. Hope you like what you saw here today. Stay tuned for more holiday videos. I don't know which days they'll be posted yet, but stay tuned because I hope to have more this year than I did last year. And we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now, guys.